There are coastlines where the ocean doesn't just shape the land, it creates giants. Waves slam into cliffs with the force of earthquakes, storms rise without warning, and out of the spray stand two towers of stone. Sailors feared them from the sea, and climbers tried to conquer them from the rock. They are called Risin and Kellingin, the giant and the witch. From a distance, they look like sentinels guarding the shore. Up close, they are raw, vertical, and alive with the sea's fury. Locals say the witch carries a curse, a story told for centuries. Legends tie both towers to trolls, but whatever their origin, scientists warn one of them may soon collapse. Both legend and science agree. These are not ordinary rocks. They are giants in waiting. Risin and Kellingin rise off the northern coast of Eysturoy, one of the Faroe Islands. The Faroes sit in the North Atlantic between Iceland and Scotland, a remote chain of cliffs, fjords, and windswept coasts. Mountains here rise straight out of the sea, and waves pound against basalt walls taller than skyscrapers. Risin, the giant, climbs to about 233 feet. Kellingin, the witch, rises just behind at 223 feet. According to legend, they were trolls sent from Iceland to steal the Faroes, but when dawn broke, they turned to stone. From coastal villages, the stacks dominate the horizon. Across the bay at Tjørnavik, they line up with the mountains like broken cathedral towers. And out at sea, they look unreal. Sheer black basalt, standing alone against the crashing waves. But their story is older than any legend. Risin and Kellingin began as part of the headland itself. For thousands of years, waves carved caves into the cliffs, then arches, until the surrounding stone collapsed. What remains are the last columns of a vanished coast, the broken teeth of an eroded giant. They are monuments, not just of myth, but of geology. For centuries, local fishermen stayed away from Risin and Kellingin. They knew the waters around the stacks were dangerous. Waves rebounded off the cliffs, smashing boats from two sides at once. Fog could roll in so quickly that sailors lost sight of the shore, and the cries of thousands of seabirds echoed so loud it felt like the ocean itself was alive. The Faroes lived with the towers in view, but few ever came close. To them, the stacks were landmarks and warnings. But as the climbing age spread across Europe, some couldn't resist testing the giants. By the 1900s, climbers began to wonder if the towers could be scaled. Sea stacks in Scotland and Ireland had already been conquered. Why not here? Yet Risin and Kellingin proved far more brutal. The first challenge was always the landing. Boats circled again and again, waiting for a break in the waves. Some climbers scrambled onto Kellingin's base, but the stone was slick with algae and bird droppings. Higher up, fulmars dived at their helmets and spat oil that burned their skin. The team retreated before reaching even a quarter of the height. Another group set their sights on the giant. For a few hours, the ocean was calm, but by mid-morning, rain hammered the wall, turning the basalt to glass. One climber slipped, saved only by the rope that caught him before he fell into the sea. With the waves rising and the rock breaking under their hands, they gave up the climb. Other expeditions never touched the rock at all. Dinghies capsized in the waves, spilling ropes and gear into the sea. Days of patient waiting ended in fog so thick that crews had no choice but to turn back. Time and again, the stacks stopped them before a single move could be made. Perhaps the boldest attempt came later, when a team climbed nearly halfway up Kellingin. For hours they battled slickstone and screaming birds, fixing ropes higher and higher. From the shore, locals watched tiny figures inch up the wall. But by mid-afternoon, the wind began to rise, gusts strong enough to swing climbers against the rock. With the witch trembling beneath them and rain sweeping in, they retreated. Their ropes hung from the cracks for weeks, a reminder of how close they had come. and how far they still were. To this day, no climber has reached the summit of Risin or Kellingin. Every attempt has ended in retreat. Out here, storms from Greenland, Iceland, and Norway collide without warning. One moment calm, the next a wall of wind and rain. The ocean never rests. Long swells travel thousands of miles, smash into the headlands, and rebound straight into the next wave. The collision creates crossfire seas, a chaos of water with no rhythm and no safe path through. Beneath the surface, the seabed drops almost straight down. No sandbanks, no reefs, nothing to break the force of the waves. Boats heave several feet in seconds, their anchors dragging uselessly across bare rock. Even skilled captains can't keep a vessel steady against the stacks for long. The cliffs themselves are fragile. Risin and Kellingin were carved by erosion, and erosion will destroy them. Kellingin already shows deep cracks from top to bottom. In storms, she shakes with every hit. Part of her top collapsed more than a century ago, and geologists expect the rest of her to fall in a future winter. Risin, the giant, looks more solid, but the same ocean that created him will one day tear him down. Then there are the birds. Thousands of fulmars, guillemots, and kittiwakes crowd the ledges. In summer, the stacks are alive with wings and noise, a constant roar of cries, feathers, and flight. They defend their nests with beaks and claws. Fulmars spit a rancid oil that blinds on contact and burns the skin. Climbers describe the smell as sickening, and on a vertical wall above the surf, one strike can mean a fall. For centuries, Faroe's families risked their lives lowering themselves on ropes down coastal cliffs to collect eggs, but even they avoided Risin and Kellingin. And finally, rescue. Out here, help is nearly impossible. Helicopters are forced back by crosswinds, their rotors blasted with salt spray. Boats cannot linger close to the cliffs. The waves will smash them against stone. If a climber falls or a boat capsizes, survival depends on sheer luck. Here, one mistake is usually final. Other sea stacks in the North Atlantic have been conquered. The Old Man of Hoy in Scotland, at 449 feet, was first climbed in the 1960s. Stackenarmen in St. Kilda, taller than both Risin and Kellingin, has also seen ascents. Even Ball's Pyramid, a spire of rock more than 1,800 feet tall in the Pacific, was climbed in 1965. But those towers offer landing ledges, calmer water, or more stable rock. The Faroes giants offer none of that. Their danger is not in their height, but in the violence of the sea around them. The locals have always known this. Fishermen avoid the waters around the stacks, even when the catch is better elsewhere. Tour boats keep their distance, and guides warn passengers that the witch is cracked and sure to fall. Some even say the cracks widen with each storm, as if she is straining to break free. Others claim the giant still leans north, pulling toward Iceland. In the Faroes, geology and myth often blur into the same story. Today, climbers have better ropes, lighter gear, and stronger protection than ever before. Drones can scout routes, GPS can track weather shifts, and dry suits can withstand the icy water. On paper, Risin and Kellingin should be possible, but technology cannot calm the sea or clear the fog. Modern climbers know that the ocean itself is the real barrier, and no equipment can tame it. That is why, even in an age when mountains and cliffs across the world have been conquered, the Faroes giants remain untouched. For the Faroes, Risin and Kellingin are more than stone. They are characters in a story as old as the islands themselves. The tale says that long ago, two trolls crossed the sea from Iceland to steal the Faroes. All night they fought to drag the islands north, the giant hauling on his ropes, the witch pushing from the headland. But the land held firm, and when dawn broke, the trolls turned to stone. Locals say the witch carries a curse, and one day she will collapse when a pure soul passes by. To outsiders, it sounds like folklore, but in the Faroes, people point to the cracks already running through her tower. Whether by prophecy or by storm, her fall is only a matter of time. And when she goes, the giant will follow. Until then, they remain, two sentinels against the Atlantic. If you enjoy stories of deadly waters and impossible climbs, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments what I should cover next.